Hey everyone, it's Simon from Higher Plane Games. Hope you're well and having a great day. This is Fortex Jugo, or Jugo as I want to do it. It feels like it needs to have that like Spanish twang to it. Now it's a puzzle game where you are versus the leaderboard, but also versus the computer as well in some degree. And it's a really difficult game to explain, so I'm going to start playing and kind of show you how it goes, because the tutorial has got loads of attempted humour mixed into it, which confused the hell out of me. And it was not helpful, and admittedly I have had some cider today, but really I was confused. So it does have like a playable tutorial on the side, but we'll ignore that. But essentially you're playing in this 16 square grid 4x4. You've then got these particles, as they call it, that are going around the outside, these 16 here, and they'll all be filled with numbers from 1 through to potentially 14. And the idea is that you want to, like, chime is the first game that pops into my head, but it's a poor example. You essentially want to move particles so that they match each other, or that they add up to 15, and you'll cover the track. So if I go from that to that there, you can see that where I've landed has then gone dark, which is great. And then I can move the 8 to the 8, and again that will cover, and you can see each time I'm doing that the numbers going up and up and up and up. Eventually though, what will happen is that if you're trying to make a 15, you'll then get a pi, and then if I put two pies together, that will make an and there are different versions of, this is not going to go to plan now, oh there we go, there's different versions of pi, so you can see there's a red one and a blue one there, and if I mix those together you've got the black and the white and essentially where this is following like a particles physics type thing, if you move the two together, out comes the void, which is like a dark space that you can try and move around and colour in the background as you go. Now the idea then with this, as you can see, I can now try and like pull things across so that it colours as it goes. The idea behind this is that there's like a claw inside, and it gets excited whenever there's high scoring things like pies and ohms around it. And so if you leave the claw next to something for too long, it will come out and grab it. And if you can see on the left hand side, I've got like my little player score, the 189410. The claw, or as they call it, Jugo, can also score. And so the idea is, if you win if you succeed in colouring in all of the spaces, but the computer wins if it scores more than you, or if you basically move yourself into a place where you've got no moves to continue. And that can happen quite easily, not necessarily on this level, because this level's like designed to be simple-ish and easy-ish, although I can't do that. Let's move that out of the way. Ooh, the claw's getting excited. Basically when it turns purple, it's like, I can't deal with it anymore, and it must have it. Now there's two ways that you can go around sorting out that. You can keep moving the claw away from any of the ohms or pies, or you can do a sacrifice and chuck something in there. You'll lose 150,000 as you see, but sometimes that's better than having it running around and stealing all your shit. Okay? So, what this game then doesn't explain to you necessarily, straight off the bat, human 1, got over 150,000, so I get 1 star, is that you're essentially balancing clearing the board and making it all grey and like blanked out, whilst trying to raise numbers and getting as many of those pies and ohms onto the board as possible, because when the board clears and you saw that score go across, it was having the pies and ohms on there that makes the difference in the high score. And it doesn't necessarily tell you that in a very simple manner. And so when you start looking at other different things. Here you can see like everything is pies and ohms here. So you're like, which way do I go? So you can create spaces. Oh, was that two together? Yes, it was. And start trying to drag spaces around somewhere. But then you almost don't want to finish it too quickly. So you're constantly torn. And you've got like this, not moral, well, it is a moral dilemma in a way. And that's when you can use things like the surrounding space to try and basically keep moving the good grabbables out of the way, which is what I've not necessarily done here. Yeah, it's going to pounce it. It's going to pounce it. Can you see? Oh no, it won't. Wah, wah, wah. Although now that one wants to. So if I move that one up, there we go. And now it's like, no, I want that one. I want that one. So we'll make that a void as well. So the game itself is relatively, I think that's going to go for it, isn't it? Oh, bollocks. I can move that one down, can't I? There we go. Wow, it's excited. Let's do that and then we'll win. You can see it's bright red there. But can you see just how much more of a score I've got there compared to what I was getting before? And that's kind of what the game misses. Now, there is only one layout for the game, essentially. But what it's doing is rearranging the numbers around. So each time you go, you can kind of see like the highest score that you can potentially get in a normal straight run. Although there's a Steam achievement for beating those scores, which confuses me because it's as if like those 20 handcrafted versions are all designed to be winnable and get 3 stars or above, whereas the daily stuff is completely randomized. And that's fine, but what you'll find is that actually some of the stuff, and it says it in the tutorial, may only be able to get to 1 star or 2 star or 3 star. It's just randomly putting stuff out there and thinking what it can get. So that needs to kind of be resorted. But as you can see here, as soon as you start to get like a much wider selection of numbers, you're like, that's not gone well. Let's do that. So yeah, it's an interesting one. So you've got high scores for each of the levels as you go along, which is fine. That doesn't make 15, Simon. You're not that drunk. This does though. And the leaderboard stuff is fine. Jugo itself, they try to give it some like personality by it talking to you in the tutorial. Doesn't really work for me personally, I must admit. And this game is purely at the people that want to sit there and replay stuff and try and get as high a score as possible without necessarily knowing what that high score is. And you're going to be playing against the leaderboards to try and work that out. And some of the stuff will be impossible when you're looking at the daily stuff, which I think is a little bit of a flaw in my personal humble opinion. And you know me, sometimes I really like randomized stuff. Sometimes I think it works against game design. And here's an option where I think, actually, I wonder if they could redo the map somewhere where actually it's not just a 16 by 16. Can it work in other ways or means, just to spice it up a little bit? You can always press Y to get. There we go. Let's really bugger ourselves up. And again, it wants me to sacrifice something. So we'll do that, and we'll do that as well. And there we go. We're into the minus, and can you see now the claw's got way more points than I have? So I'm going to need to make up plenty of points. Wants me to do that again. Crikey. So this is going to be how we lose. In a nutshell. And there we go. All your points are belong to Jugo. There we go. That's what happens when you lose. So yeah, Fortex Jugo is available on Steam. It's out. I'm confused as to whether it's on early access or not, because there's another version just called Jugo that's in like the folder, and they say that that is the early access version, not this. If you like your leaderboarders and you like your puzzles, I think you'll find something here. For the rest of us, though, I think we might struggle against some of the bit more abstract design of what's going on, and the fact that apart from the daily stuff, which is great, there's very little reason to come back. And when I'm looking at like the leaderboards for different stuff, again, no data for today because it's obviously, I don't think it's actually properly released yet. So you've got global top and me, and so on and so forth. Can I switch that out and go for purple haze, purple haze? Global top. Oh, am I in there? Oh, I am. I'm number 11. Ah! Vaguely good at something for now. That will all change, I'm sure. But you can see some people are really, really going for it. So if that interests you, then this game could well give you legs. Otherwise, I think it might be a bit of a struggle for some people to get into it. And there's easier to grasp puzzles out there that offer a little bit more depth for you, I think. So thank you very much for watching. Oh, before I do go, I do appreciate though that this game allows you to play with a controller, which is really rare for puzzle games of this type. So 2 thumbs up for that. I really appreciate that. But this is all for High Playing Games today. I hope you all have a great rest of the day and take care. And I'll see you soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.